Welcome back. Today we're doing a really critical deep dive into second language acquisition. SLA specifically for kids, PK through 12.
Yeah, it's a huge group of learners growing fast.
And the policies affecting them. Often they seem completely disconnected from, the actual research. They're sort of flying blind.
Exactly. So our mission today is to pull together the key findings. We looked at 71 different articles.
71? Wow.
Yeah, across 4 big research areas: foreign language ed, child language stuff, sociocultural studies, and psycholinguistics. We want to get you the actionable insights.
Okay.
What conditions work best, what are realistic timelines. Oh, and quick terminology note, L1 means the student's first language. L2 is the second one they're learning.
Got it. L1, L2. Okay, let's jump right in. Maybe start with something that might shock policymakers, the timeline. How fast can kids actually learn a second language?
Right. The research is really consistent here, but it's maybe not what people want to hear for quick results. It takes L2 learners about 3 to 7 years.
3 to 7 years to reach academic proficiency?
Exactly. Academic deficiency. That's a huge time investment.
Yeah, most programs seem built around maybe a year or two.
Right, totally. So you see this massive mismatch between what policy expects and, the reality for these kids.
Okay, but here's a twist I found really interesting. You'd think starting younger means faster results, that whole critical period idea.
Mm-hmm.
But the synthesis actually suggests younger learners, they often take longer initially.
That's right. It seems counterintuitive, but younger kids often progress more slowly at the start compared to older learners.
Huh.
But, and this is keys, they're much more likely to eventually reach that really high, close to native level fluency and pronunciation.
So it's a slower burn, but potentially a better outcome long term.
Precisely. It really is a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah.
That slower initial pace, that's a psycholinguistic thing. They're building the foundations.
Okay. And you mentioned context matters a lot. How does that play into the optimal conditions for this marathon?
Hugely. So let's take learners who are immersed in the L2 society. The second language is just everywhere, right?
Right, like moving to a new country.
Exactly. For them, the optimal conditions aren't necessarily about grammar drills in a classroom. It's more about the environment.
Okay, so what does the research point to?
Strong literacy practices at home, but in their first language, they're L1.
Interesting. Strong L1 skills help L2 immersion.
Absolutely. And then crucially, lots of chances to use the L2 informally, outside of school, just interacting. The sociocultural research really hammers this home. Real interaction is key.
Makes sense. But what about the flip side? Kids learning in L2 with minimal exposure, like a standard foreign language class a few times a week.
Yeah, completely different situation. The needs flip. Because they get so little input, the psycholinguistic findings show those learners really need explicit instruction.
Ah, okay. So they need the grammar rules spelled out because they won't just absorb it from the environment.
Precisely. They need that structure taught directly.
So the best way really depends on the context immersion versus minimal exposure. But across the board, they still need good programs and enough time focused on L2 literacy.
Yes, those are constants. Well-implemented programs and dedicated literacy time are non-negotiable.
Okay, let's shift to the learners themselves. What makes an L2 learner successful? What characteristics pop up in the research?
Well, some are what you'd expect. Strong aptitude for languages, a knack for it, and motivation is huge, of course.
Yeah.
But here's something really critical, maybe sometimes overlooked. Having strong skills in their first language, their L1.
Again, with the L1 skills. So being good at your first language helps you learn a second.
It's a very strong predictor. Think of it like building on an existing foundation. Those L1 knowledge structures help scaffold the L2 learning.
Fascinating. And what about the teachers? What does the research say makes an effective L2 teacher?
Obviously, they need high proficiency in the L2 themselves. Can't teach what you don't know well. And strong teaching skills, generally classroom management, pedagogy.
Standard stuff, yeah.
Right, foundational. But the synthesis adds another layer, and it's a tough one sometimes. Ideally, they should also be proficient in their students' L1.
Ah. So a teacher teaching Spanish to English speakers would ideally also know English.
Exactly. Or teaching English to Spanish speakers, knowing Spanish helps immensely. It's not just a nice to have, it acts as a bridge, helps understand student errors, reduces friction.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense, but probably isn't always the reality in classrooms.
Unfortunately, no. It's a significant challenge.
So we've got this 3 to 7 year timeline, context dependency, the importance of L1 for both students and teachers. How does all this square with actual education policy, say, here in the U.S.?
Well, that's the core tension, isn't it? The research shows it's complex, depends on context, it takes a long time.
Right.
But policy often looks for, a silver bullet, a single best program, or a quick fix that works everywhere, ignoring these huge differences between, say, immersion and minimal input.
Yeah, that disconnect seems pretty stark. We treat it like just a cognitive puzzle sometimes.
Exactly. And the psycholinguistic challenges, learning vocabulary, grammar, those might be similar across contexts.
Yeah.
But the sociocultural challenges, the interactional side,
Totally different beast depending on the setting.
vastly different. And those differences can really determine the outcome, how successful a learner is.
Which leaves us with a really important question for you, the listener, to think about. If a student in an immersion setting, lots of L2 input, has strong cognitive skills and good L1 abilities, what other sociocultural barriers might still be there, hidden, that could slow them down or even prevent success within that 3 to 7 year window? What are those unaddressed challenges in supposedly ideal settings?
Yeah, that's something worth mulling over. What exists beyond just the language itself?